me for speaking French too quick to her and gave me detention. Faculty she had to speak French in French class. I literally came into this thread to say that I once got a detention for speaking French in French class. Set the monitor screen upside down with Control Alt down arrow and got sent home. Someone did that to the class computer when I was in 3rd grade. Since it was one of those big old CRTs, the teacher just flipped it over and went on with his day. I once got in trouble because I scored full marks on a test we were self-marking because the teacher believed I had lied when I was marking it. Then said I was copying the girl next to me who got like 75%. Then just straight said I'd cheated, took me out of class and just screamed at me. The next time we did a test I got full marks again and just told her I'd got 75%. She didn't believe me. Dragged me to the front of the class and read out my answers. They were all like, HMM that's 100%. Then proceeded to get screamed at for lying about it. Mocked for not being able to count and yet getting 100% on the test, etc. There was nothing I could do to please this scummy human being. I got referral for being pushed down a flight of stairs by a bully. He got a detention, but no. I get punished more because I must have provoked him. Yes. Because the school bully needs a reason. UK detention is 1 hour after school. Referral means entire school day in a room. Working in silence. I got detention for going to class in gym shorts because someone hid my skirt after pay. Pay teacher actually told me to go to class and she would look for it. Math teacher was an all lich and gave me detention. Full stop. Got suspended from school for breaking an already broken desk. All I did was put the broken desk leg inside the desk so no one would get hurt. My mom thought it was so stupid. She ended up renting me a few video games for my week of suspension. 10/10 would do it again. I threw a pee in the cafeteria in 4th grade. When I brought the write-up slip home to be signed. My dad's only comment was thankfully it wasn't a lima bean. Those can be deadly. Kid next to me made a stupid noise and the teacher didn't like me so he blamed me. Gave me a lunch detention. I said it wasn't me and the kid next to me admitted to it. We both got a lunch detention. I got in trouble for doing too much of a group project. I was appointed group leader for a research project in a science class. But when we broke up the work into different sections, I was the only one to have done any research. So I realized I needed to do about 80% of the total work then to make up for it. I got it done. And we turned it in. But then my group members complained that I did too much of the work. So the teacher pulled me aside and told me she was redistributing some of my points to my group members. I was absolutely baffled. I once got a letter sent home for pretending to play RuneScape in real life with my friends in primary school. We were all between the ages 10-11 and used fallen branches as equipment such as an axe to woodcut. I was completely baffled and my parents didn't say a word as they felt the same. I got in trouble in kindergarten for refusing to do an assignment that required 2 hands. A week after I broke my right hand. And couldn't trace either hand for a turkey hand. My friend's mom worked at the school. She was super strict and didn't let her daughter do anything. She watched her daughter and all of her daughter's friends like a hawk. Anytime I did anything, she would call my mother. I got in trouble for eating 2 brownies instead of 1 at lunch. Playing a very mild game of truth or dare with my friends. Going to the bathroom too much during recess. Putting glitter hair mascara in my hair when I got to school. It was the late 90s. Just anything. After a while, my mom had to ask her to stop calling because some of the stuff was just stupid. But I still got in trouble for it. Basically, this woman thought I was a bad influence on her daughter. I should have just stopped hanging out with the girl. But neither of us had a ton of friends and I loved her too much. Fast forward 20 years and I graduated college and am married with a family. Her daughter had 4 kids out of wedlock. Dropped out of college. And married a felon. Don't smother your kids. I threw a basketball and it inadvertently knocked over a blind kid. Coach made me run laps because I was too dense to realize all he wanted me to do was apologize. 2nd grade. We're having a bathroom break. This kid is talking about how if you do good things you go to heaven. So I chimed in, if you do bad things, you go to hell. That ducker reported me. Threw an apple at a locker. Was trying to toss it into my own locker. Suspended. To note, I'm black. If that has anything to do with how hard the punishment was. My white friend did it too. Only like actually threw it. Warning. Asking the principal why he didn't say hello to a class of mine he walked into. He made me come into his office with my dad the next day. It sucked. Kindergarten. I had gotten some Scooby-Doo underoos as a Christmas present and was wearing them that day. While I don't recall how the conversation with a classmate started, I do know that said classmate refused to believe that such a thing existed. Well, I wasn't going to let some asshole call me a liar, so I dropped trout to settle things once and for all. A moral victory, yes. But probably not worth the call to my parents. I played basketball in middle school. And I got in trouble for saying good game to someone from the opposing team. When the coach asked me why I said that the next day before practice, I got in even more trouble for telling him we lost. But it's not that big a deal as long as we tried hard and had fun. Right? We'll do better next time. He was super pissed. Told me that I clearly didn't care about the team. And that I needed to think about whether I wanted to continue playing or not. Then he made me run laps the whole practice while everyone else played. I quit the next day. Sorry. But I guess middle school B team basketball just wasn't important enough to me. Accidentally stepped in mud when my foot slipped off the sidewalk during lunch hour. I tried to get as much off as I could before coming into the building. And then went up to one of the lunch peeps to ask what I should do cause I didn't want to track mud everywhere. They had me mop up what mess I had made. Which I can understand. But then they made me stay in lunch detention for the remainder of the hour. For real? I was trying to be responsible. Dude. I got a detention for shaking my chocolate milk in a suggestive manner. When I asked the principal what the duck he was talking about, he just kept saying things like, you know what I'm talking about, and quit playing dumb. I still have no ducking idea what he was talking about. Corrected the teacher. The teacher said I was wrong. I argued and was sent to the dean's office for insubordination. I brought in proof of my rightness the following day and then had a discussion about how the proper time to correct the teacher is after class. Reading. Yes. I got in trouble for reading. In an English class. The teacher, a 70-something old lady about to retire, pulled me into the hallway to lecture me about making the other students feel stupid because I was finishing my work early and reading to fill the extra time. All the while, half of the kids that she was insinuating I was making feel stupid were asleep in their desks. I was a straight A student. Those kids were lucky if they saw me their entire school time. Oh. I was also a senior in high school when this happened. In high school I was targeted by the local Wigger gang. Long story short, I pissed off one of them and they tried to make me their itch and I never flinched. They took turns provoking me in 2 fights at school. I tried to tell the principal that he had a gang problem, but he pointed out that my name was on all of the referrals, fighting with lots of different people. Couldn't argue with that logic. After several suspensions my junior year I was called into the principal's office and given a choice of expulsion or GED. I chose GED. I was in AP classes. I once got the time put chair for breaking 2 rules, coloring an elephant purple with my left hand. Elephants aren't light purple. They're grey. Turns out I'm colorblind. Don't use your left hand for coloring. Turns out I'm left-handed. Welp. What can ya do? This was 26 years ago in West Virginia. I'm mostly over it by now. Edit. Holy wow, my inbox. Thank you for the words of encouragement. You guys are the best. Telling my teacher that the USSR was not a country. This had to be in the 4th grade and it had been less than 5 years since the USSR was disbanded. My teacher was teaching us geography and the map still said USSR on it. I had raised my hand and told her that the map was missing Russia. She told me that the USSR was Russia and that they were the same. I told her, well, you should still teach us the right stuff so I don't grow up sounding stupid and saying the wrong things. My 4th grade mind didn't understand that and I continued to tell her that she should get an updated map anyway. She started getting very angry with me and ended up writing me up for disturbing the class. When I went to the VP office I told her what had happened and she said yes, some of our things are outdated, but that is what happens when we do not get more money in our budget for school funding. She made me leave and said don't question the teacher again. Almost got in trouble for picking up something I just printed directly off of the printer. MRS. F for bad students from touching her printers. Luckily it was after hours and I was working on something for student council. She let me go because I was a good kid. And didn't mean anything by it. If it had been in class I would have been crucified as an example for the rest of the students. I said the word pregnant, I'm not kidding. I was being surrounded by bullies in the lunch line. I was crying and I was waiting for one of them to hit me because they usually did at some point. Someone grabbed me by my arm and spun my whole body around and I had my other arm cocked back ready to defend myself. It turned out it was a teacher and she thought I was making too much noise so she grabbed my arm. Then took me to the principal and wrote me up for threatening to hit her. My explanations fell on deaf ears. Then I got paddle pops from dad at home after school. Ducking bullshit. That might have been the point I lost all faith in the education system and it was like 3rd grade. Got caught throwing a snowball, along with 2-3 others, during recess in 5th grade by the other 5th grade teacher. Class was split. Punishment by the other teacher, why it was up to her to begin with I don't know, was to copy 1 page of the Webster's dictionary. I'm a little slower than others but get it done and hand it to her. But then she tells me I did it wrong because I just wrote down the words and definitions but she meant everything on the page. So I stayed in from recess for I don't know how long. It was actually nice in a way as it was winter, but finally got it done. Again. My parents asked me at one point if I wanted them to go talk to the teacher to get me off the hook, but I said no because I didn't want other kids thinking I got special treatment. Though looking back now 35 years later I wish they had. Small town school. What could she have done about it if my dad told her I'd done enough with the first try and I wasn't going to do any more? And I still don't get why snowball fights are so bad for kids. Oh yeah. Duck UMRS. Bohannon. I made the internet icon in the computer lab turn off the computer and logged off. The next student couldn't. For the life of them. Figure out how to get on the internet and the computer just kept logging off. Well. The IT guy found out I did it. Took me to the principal's office and told him I hacked the computer. I showed him I just made a hyperlinked icon and he laughed at the IT guy. Still had to suspend me since I altered a school computer. Though. So he asked if I'd like the rest of the day off and I said sure. Walked to my car. Called my friends, who all left in the middle of class, and went and had a rail-on party at the park 2 hours before school was out. The IT guy was so mad because me and the VP were laughing at the joke and he just kept blurting he hacked the computer. I got expelled because I was the quiet kid who wore black and listened to metal. They thought I was going to kill everyone. I was 11. Running too fast. Yes, that's right. I got sent to the principal's office for running too fast.